So, what happened to Gordon Lightfoot? Let's rewind to the beginning. Gordon Lightfoot was born in Orillia, Ontario in 1938. From a young age, he showed musical talent, studying piano, singing in church choirs, and later learning guitar. Like many artists of his generation, his musical journey began in small town settings, but it wouldn't stay small for long. By the 1960s, the folk boom was well underway. Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and Peter, Paul, and Mary were household names. But up north, Gordon Lightfoot was quietly shaping a legacy of his own. He wrote songs with rich lyrical detail, capturing the Canadian landscape, personal longing, and working class struggles. Songs like Early Morning Rain and For Lovin' Me were covered by major artists, including Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash. Both of those songs were from his self-titled debut album. Dylan himself once called Lightfoot one of his favorite songwriters. Between 1966 and 1969, Lightfoot recorded 4 additional albums at United Artists: The Way I Feel, 1967, Did She Mention My Name, 1968, Back Here on Earth, 1968, and the Live Sunday Concert, 1969, and consistently placed singles in the Canadian Top 40, including Go Go Round, Spin Spin, and The Way I Feel. Then came the 1970s, Lightfoot's golden era. This is when Gordon Lightfoot transitioned from a respected songwriter into a full-fledged star. His 1970 song, If You Could Read My Mind, was a breakthrough hit, haunting, poetic, and deeply personal, inspired by his divorce. It reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and made him a household name in the U.S. It had originally appeared on the 1970 album Sit Down Young Stranger. That was just the beginning. Sundown, released in 1974, hit number 1 in the U.S., a rare feat for a Canadian folk artist. Then came Carefree Highway, Rainy Day People, and of course the epic The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 6-minute ballad that told the true story of a shipwreck on Lake Superior. It was storytelling set to music, with chilling realism and reverence. That song reached number 2 on the U.S. charts in 1976, but after peaking commercially in the 70s, Lightfoot, like many artists, started to fade from mainstream charts in the 80s. So what happened? Part of it was timing. The musical landscape was changing. Folk gave way to synth pop, glam rock, and later, grunge and hip hop. But part of it too was personal. Lightfoot struggled with alcoholism for many years. It impacted his health, his relationships, and at times, his ability to tour or record. Yet, even through this, he never fully disappeared. He continued releasing albums, performing live, and quietly building one of the most loyal fan bases in folk music. He released another compilation album, Gord's Gold Volume 2, in 1988, and stayed busy into the 90s with Waiting for You in 1993 and A Painter Passing Through in 1998. In 1999, Rhino Records released Songbook, a 4-CD boxed set of Lightfoot recordings with rare and unreleased tracks from the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, plus a small hardback booklet describing how he wrote his songs and gave facts about his career. Then came a close call. In 2002, Lightfoot suffered a near-fatal abdominal hemorrhage before a show in Orillia. He was in a coma for weeks. Many thought it was the end, and it nearly was. But in true Gordon Lightfoot fashion, he defied expectations. He recovered and, incredibly, returned to performing in 2004. In January 2004, Lightfoot completed work on Harmony, which he had mostly recorded before his illness. He kept touring into his 70s and 80s, his voice weathered, yes, but still magnetic. Fans, young and old, came to see the man who had written the soundtrack to Canadian identity, to Midwestern memory, to heartbreak and heritage. A new generation was rediscovering his work. Bob Dylan still praised him. Documentaries were made. He was awarded the Companion of the Order of Canada, the country's highest civilian honor. His songs were sampled and referenced, and his legacy was cemented. Then, on May 1st, 2023, Gordon Lightfoot passed away at the age of 84. Canada wept, so did folk fans everywhere, but Lightfoot didn't die in obscurity. He left this world respected, celebrated, and still performing nearly until the end. His final studio album, Solo, released in 2020, was a reflective, stripped-back return to the songwriting he had always excelled at. Just him, his guitar, and his words. So what happened to Gordon Lightfoot? He never became a tabloid celebrity. He didn't reinvent himself every decade. He didn't chase trends. Instead, he did something arguably harder. He stayed true to his voice. He sang about real people, real places, real loss. And in doing so, he became timeless. In the end, Gordon Lightfoot didn't fade. He endured.